Yours truly. Finally, I get some facts like it. They go to the gun.
Brilliant film. Albion is here for your safety.
Suspect reported in your area, potentially armed and hostile. Received, we are in pursuit. Can anyone see the suspect?
I'm terminating the search. Fall back. Over.
How do you feel about changing the state of things?
Hang on, are you DedSec? If you are, I need help with something.
Who can say? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Or maybe I am. Now what's going on?
These Kelly maggots, they're out of control. They burned down my cousin's dry cleaning shop because he said no to paying protection. Fucking bullies.
That's terrible.
I know who it was that set the fire, but the cops won't do anything.
Yeah, you couldn't trust the police to organise a piss-up in a brewery. Leave this to DedSec.
Okay, let's try it. You help me, and I will help you. It's partners, like buddy movie.
rappers claim no fair. Oh yeah, you rap about the nose hair. You know what? No, we don't care, so there. Get straight to it. That's so cool, like there ain't nothing to it. Except there's well, you reckon actually is raw talent? So have it. Most don't know.
You're in. Now find the thing.
Exit. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, no.
I seems bad now.
Stop now, and I might not kill you.
That's the target. Should be hackable.
Just find them. Hey, drone, look around. Look around. No stone unturned.
Area clear. Moving on.
I lost the shithead. Oh, I'm done looking.
Disturbance detected. Begin Beginning investigation. Hostile target. Combat measures.
What?
Time to pick up where your teammate left off. I'm sure they'll thank you once they stop eating through a tube.
Bastards. I hope they subscribe to an eye for an eye, because I do.
You're in. Now find the thing. That's the target. Should be hackable.
Whoa! KedSec's got their tools down, Pat.
Transfer complete.
What have we got, Bagley?
Nothing to fix, actually. She's been patching holes in their security, not opening them. Seems she's not so much a cyber criminal as she is renegade tech support.
Go on.
She's been particularly focused on exploits around the organ transfer list. Anyone who got their hands on these exploits will have a lot of control over that waiting list.
All right, I'll bite. Could be the start of something good. Arrange a meeting, Bagley.
I never left my 9 to 5 for this wasteman. I don't care what England
stupidest and most attractive person I've ever seen.
Seriously? Stupid.
Well done, well done.
Fuck this.
Piss off, drone.
Seriously? Stupid. Fuck this.
Jesus Christ, that thing's mental.
Fuck this, I'm gone.
Don't slip up now. I could do even better than that. Wow. Fuck.
So you're DedSec? I was getting curious about you.
Your work on the NHS has caught our interest. Not bad at all.
Doesn't mean anything if I can't stop Clan Kelly, which apparently I can't. They stole hundreds of organs before I could close the exploit.
Not good.
A part of me wants to just take them back myself, but I'm not stupid enough to think I could do that alone.
All right. Leave it to us.
Cheers. Help me, I'll help DedSec. It's a good deal for you.
Turn around and move on.
Our Grey Hat has already worked out the smuggling ring's headquarters. I'm passing the details to your optic.
I'll take a look around.
This is what passes for auto-drive.
Come on, move it!
Auto drive now enabled.
Times are uncertain, and we live with the constant news of threats. But hasn't that always been the way? This island became great, not because of the good times, but how we dealt with the bad. From tighter border controls to investing in the pound, your government is taking the action needed to keep Britain safe. So when you meet someone who questions what we're doing, it's time for you to ask, why are they so worried? After all, if you've got nothing to hide, you've nothing to fear. SIRS, securing Britain to make things great.
Auto drive now disabled.
We're in a pile-up.
All units. Possible suspect or suspects reported near your location.
I'm here.
Good. The stolen organs should be in an ambulance on site.
See the suspect. Please advise.
All units, disengage. Suspect has disappeared.
That's the vehicle you're looking for there.
What makes this vehicle so special?
Vehicle acquired. Now what?
I suppose our friend would like it if you took the organs to a hospital, but you could also technically eat them. I don't have a strong opinion either way.
There. Did you hear that? Fuck you, yeah?
Just put your hands up!
It was an accident!
Awaiting an active protest report.
You're being followed. Try and lose them. Good. You lost them.
Massive collision. All units, possible suspect or suspects reported near your location. Investigating. Stand by. Now! Straight ahead.
I have them. Where did they go? Control. Suspect is through the checkpoint. Over.
Control, we are pursuing the suspect. Over. Right, let's spread out and look. Driving into the vehicle. Over.
Counter-terrorism, counter-intelligence, countering organized crime. Signal intelligence response leads the world in surveillance.
Suspect has exited the vehicle. Over. Shoot! All units, we are after the suspect.
Long gone. Disengage. Over and out. Shit! Brake! Brake!
Where did they go? Shit! Target has cleared. Checkpoint on. Any other patrols have eyes on the suspect, over?
The 4-minute mile.
Control.
They said
Let's
it could
put out
never
an
be run.
EPW. We're getting nowhere here.
Believe in more. Broker Tech. Are you ready for the future?
Congratulations on your great victory. I'll let the hospital staff know about this special delivery while you call our hacker friend.
Done.
Good. Now the organs will go to those who need it the most, not those who can pay the most.
There's strength in numbers, you know. You should join DedSec.
Fine. I'm in.
What's an army without its soldiers? Glad to have you.
Yes, well, I'm ready to help however I can.
Excellent.
My problem. Just calm down.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. They probably know that you're listening to this show right now, but don't worry. We're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organization that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media in post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
You know, we're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated, and what we haven't looked at is the power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For example, if we examine what actually happened, you know, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports and making it easy to provide visas for investment and so on. And historically, throughout the world, they've been working with this big data manipulation company in order to overthrow governments. And then suddenly all the chickens came home to roost. Nobody could find any receipts for what was paid for. Nobody could figure out how things were done, but everybody had a feeling that something really stunk, and they couldn't figure it out. And yet it was standing there in their face the whole time. So there's a couple of different ways that we got where it is that we are. I mean, one, you have a lot of smaller organizations, smaller power groups, companies as well, who are bending things just a little. Oh, we'll compromise a little bit, we'll bend the rules a little bit, and try to achieve what it is that we hope to achieve that's good for us. And if you add all of that up, what you end up with is a big wall moving in a big way from a lot of little buttons being pushed. But also there's this other thing that's going on here, is the gathering of data and the analysis of data has authoritarianism contained within its DNA. It is by its nature a tool for authoritarianism, and it has been used in that way.
How does big data look into our lives? James covered it for the pre-crisis press.
We're starting to see the merger of private data and that with data held by the state into what are called social credit systems. This is where every aspect of your behaviour is monitored and totted up by a central system to sort of score you as a person, a bit like a credit card, but predicated on all of your behaviour rather than just the money you're spending. And this can have profound impact. We're starting to see systems emerge which will punish you and stop you from doing things in society based on your behaviours. And this can be as trivial as if you jaywalk, if you cross the road in the wrong place, you might lose points. If you do some community activities or help your neighbours, you might earn points. And then this can be used to sort of evaluate you as a person. And this could mean, for example, the travel privileges, being able to travel first class, or being denied from travelling first class, to not being allowed to travel at all. These systems are very real and very possible because of all of the data that is now held on us.
Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, you know, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does. It's just a myth. But that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, you saw exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
So if your ears are burning and you think someone might be watching you, you're probably right. They're watching all of us. I'm Tash, and you've been listening to Buccaneer. Keep listening, keep sharing the show, and keep it encrypted. They're watching us, but we're watching them too. This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from his corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible, and because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in and say, no, wait, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere, and anything that threatened them or they disagreed with, they would call it disinformation. That's disinformation, that's fake news. And again, we got in a situation where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you'll remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. And how do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is by saying, no, they didn't. And of course, no one wants to spread that story. No one wants to hear that story. They want to hear the sensationalism. They want to hear how people were victims of violence when in fact they weren't, or they were victims of insurgent forces when in fact they weren't.
The news isn't neutral, it's a battleground. Here's media researcher and academic Alfie.
The media has, of course, been perhaps the key way in which governments have controlled and influenced their populations. So, totalitarian countries have typically used huge mainstream media outlets to sell one kind of news, one kind of biased news to its population. Of course, the media has always played this kind of key role in methods of state control. I think what's happening now is perhaps even more concerning, where you previously, in pre-crisis Britain, we had perhaps more diverse voices in the media, but now with the GBB, you're really only seeing one brand of news and therefore only getting one truth. So people end up with a very biased and controlled idea of the reality and the world that we're actually living in. There was, of course, many concerns and many problems, but in a way there were some positive things that, like, not all information was coming from one place, and so you'd have kind of far-right media outlets developing and then left-wing media outlets developing to combat those and kind of challenge the mainstream newspapers, TV stations, radios, and make sure people were questioning the validity and truth of the information they were receiving. So whilst there was the digital afforded more fake information, it also makes makes us suspicious and sceptical of information and makes us question the information we're getting. And I think in pre-crisis Britain, it might not have seemed great at the time, but there was something positive about that there was a lot of distrust in the media and in the different kinds of truths that were being told. Whereas now, I think you're seeing a return to a more traditional and older pre-digital sense, actually, of people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless, I think, and unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply entrench and support the ideals and ideologies of the state. It can seem very hopeless indeed, but I think, the fact that you're out there listening, we're in here talking, shows that there is still a space to combat these false truths and disinformation that's being sold to us, and that it's never possible, really, to completely shut down, despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the physical power. It's never quite possible to shut down people's desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values, and we're out here starting that task, so don't give up hope.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back soon with more of what you'll never hear on the GBB. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep resisting.
Welcome back to The Upload. Today we're talking about cryptocurrency. Crypto now seems like it's been around forever, but it's really quite a new invention. Were you an early adopter?
I was one of the first that was in this market. That seemed to be a new way of financial transactions, a new way of money. It's something that we could completely reinvent and change some of the legacy financial systems around the world and really give power back to the people.
Yeah, it was a real shift in the way that the world works. Let's recap the basics. Central to cryptocurrency is the distributed ledger technology, the tech that keeps track of all transactions. And what this means is you can have a decentralized system without having to trust any one party, like old-fashioned banks.
One of the reasons why I got involved so early was that you could stay anonymous.
Yeah, the features of cryptocurrency very much fit into that early mindset. It was all about finding an alternative to centralized systems. It was kind of a countercultural punk ethos. The whole point of the distributed ledger is you're not trusting any one person to keep a track of who has what money or how they're spending it. It's all out there in the open for anyone to see, and yet you can remain secretive.
But not everybody now wants to keep up this crypto legacy. They don't share this attitude anymore. We've seen institutions, businesses, even governments experimenting with crypto, which doesn't really fit into its original radical counterculture mold.
Yeah, it's kind of weird today to think of people not using cryptocurrency. It's so mainstream now. You know, I'm almost nostalgic for the feel of cash. Good old-fashioned paper and coins. First they changed the paper notes to plastic notes, and now it's just all digital. There's nothing to hold on to.
It was great just to be able to have a little bit of money to carry around with you.
I think the turning point in the UK really came a few years ago when the pound dropped 10% over just one season. People living off grid started using crypto, and just as everyone was losing faith in the pound, they were gaining it in cryptocurrency, which turned out to be much more stable. Kind of the opposite to what people thought in the beginning.
And then, of course, there was the recession. It didn't take long for startups to see an opportunity in this new way of doing finance. A lot of traditional money was converted to crypto, and it really shook up the financial sector.
Can you remember when they first introduced crypto cash points?
That was really sneaky. It was a classic startup behavior. They just installed them everywhere. No consultation with the government, no approval or anything, but people immediately started to use them.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of how Bloom put out the Optic. They just made it free and flooded the streets with these devices. Suddenly everyone had them.
If there's this great option of tech, people are just going to start using it, no matter the cost.
Parliament actually tried to put a stop to the cash points, but people were using them so much already. There was outrage. I mean, some parts of London were already using crypto as their primary currency by then.
And now, apparently, or at least in theory, crypto is illegal.
Yeah, in May this year, economists found that crypto was being traded more than the pound, and banks were not happy. They basically forced the government to ban cryptocurrency in a last-ditch effort to save the pound.
But it's not like that's worked. People are still using crypto, and it's been pushed further, deeper underground. Things used to work fine with crypto, and it was just a peer-to-peer sharing economy-style system. Now it's all on the dark web and wrapped up again in organised crime.
Yeah, if you want to make something thrive on the black market, just make it illegal.
I've got you called. Dead Set calling. Are you up for some freedom fighting?
Anything for the cause, right?
Oof, creep.
Excuse me, you want to get out of my fucking face right now? Little flying knocks. Stupid hunk of metal.
May result in arrest. Resisting arrest will be met with forcible response.
Carcass of a once-free Britain.
Yum yum.
Hello, folks. This is Bug. I'm Andy. This is Alice, and today we're going to be pretending that everything is fine. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was as long as I could manage. That's a second and a half. A reality time now, however. And, well, finally, today, we're going to road test the latest update to the CSA app, the government app that has brought the great British tradition of snitching on people you don't like back to the very heart of public life, the school playground. I'm going to tell a new threat that's got a whole new lease of life these days, thanks to CSA.
you know that you're legally required to have your optic working at all times?
One of the gangsters whose optic data we're looking to scrape is nearby.
No, no, no! Why do I feel like that?
There it is. You can hack in from there.
Dumb fuck! Let's get real.
Control to all units. Possible hostiles near your location.
Control, we're in pursuit. Over.
I just saw them go here. Shut the fire! Reloading.
That's one criminal scraped. Now let's see about their friend.
Force this suspect to stop. We are in pursuit. I say again, in pursuit.
We don't have to do this.
Right, quite a...
Pursuing the target. Over.
Both of their optics are squeaky clean. They're smart.
Shit.
But I'm about 8.61 million times smarter, give or take an order of magnitude. I managed to trace their encrypted comms channel back to a remote server.
Probably can dig up something good if we check it.
Be advised, we are on the trail.
Hiding ain't gonna work.
Anyone have visual? Anyone?
Right, I'm putting a stop to this. Units fall back. Over.
Really think of something, don't you? Doesn't have to be like this. Just give up all the... Ah!
Stand down. Let up you.
Stay calm. I know my...
Stay where you are.
I should look for others like this.
Reminder, the criminals we're investigating have a server at this location. That's the target. Should be hackable. Transfer complete.
You're going. Make it more unpleasant than it has to be.
Finding cover! For cover's shot! Go on, loose!
Going to reload! Got gunfire! That piece of box? Get your asses over here! Watch out! Getting down now! Fuckers relentless!
Where did you go?
Think you are, eh? I'm reloading!
I'm under fire! You're doing this to yourself!
We got you the evidence you need. The police won't be able to ignore it, no matter how neutered they are.
Thank you very much.
You want in? Go on. Take the red pill. Join DedSec.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
Auto drive now enabled.
All right.
Honestly, I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I'm in a film or a game, just playing the part of a resistance fighter.
I hear you. But this is real, mate. No doubts about that.
Yes, of course. All I can do is my best, I suppose. Yeah, well... Sorry, say again?
You all right?
Listen, are you sure I belong here? What if recruiting me was a mistake? I don't even know how to be DedSec.
Learning on the job's the way to go.
I was in bed with someone I met on Puller. A fine filly, you know. I told them I was DedSec. Didn't know they were sirs. I had to tell them I was joking, of course. I don't want to cock up like that again.
I hear you.
I never like disappointing people. Least of all the team.
I just can't handle this right now.
Let's turn the volume down, eh?
End of the day, I just think it's a shit.
There's always bloody happening.
Building a resistance group requires operatives with specialized skills. Technical abilities, firearms handling, and physical training are all valuable. Bare-knuckled boxing rings are a good place to find people who are good at throwing punches, or taking them. By defeating each opponent in an arena, you'll have an opportunity to face its best fighter. Prove your physical superiority, and they may consider joining DedSec. I'm guessing that's some sort of primate society thing.
Auto drive now enabled. Auto drive now disabled. Auto drive now enabled.
Nothing but concrete rubber and twisted steel. Fucking spooky knowing this is where all these people bought it.
And yet all these months later, it's crawling with security. Suspicious, no?
Might be onto something there. What am I on the lookout for, Bags?
Any kind of device or component that could still be emitting the signal. It seems to be coming from within the rubble.